Coach Stephen here from Renegade Golf Fitness. I'm joined by our head coach at Human Form Fitness, James. Today we're going to talk about the push-up, which is an excellent exercise for the golfer for many reasons. It does work the chest, the anterior shoulder, and the triceps, all muscles which can be used in one way or another in the golf swing. But what it's not respected for as much is the conditioning of the core. And we're going to talk about how to do a push-up today that you get the most out of core activation. And of course that will be translated into strength and power in your golf swing. Today we're going to look at the standard push-up with a few important details. Then we're going to go over ways to regress the push-ups and ways to progress the push-ups and make them harder. So first we're going to start out with the standard push-up using a dowel rod. Now we use dowel rods here and with my golfers. They hate them. Not because they weigh a lot, they don't, but because we use them to give feedback to you on your spinal alignment. Now spinal alignment should perk your golf ears up as well, right? Maintaining spinal angles. So we use the dowel rod here. What we're looking for, 3 points of contact. The head in between the shoulder blades and the tailbone. We're looking for 2 spaces, or gaps if you will, behind the neck and behind the lower back. This is ideal spinal alignment. And we're going to be watching this as he performs the standard push-up. Now, he's going to engage his core, he's going to engage the glutes, he's going to corkscrew his hands into the floor, which stabilizes the shoulder. He's going to hold his breath as he comes down. He's going to exhale as he drives himself back up from the floor. Give him one more for a visual, if you would there, James. All right, now, most people actually fail first on a push-up in the core, not in the shoulder to tricep. Now this looks like this. His butt raises up, see he loses alignment here, or he allows his spine to dip, big curvature here, and this exaggerated curve is also a fail, right? So the core often fails, come back to neutral, the core often fails before the chest. And a lot of golfers, of course, keep performing push-ups when actually they shouldn't. They probably need to regress the exercise a little bit. So let's talk about that. How do you make a push-up a little bit easier and still get all the benefits? Well, the first thing you do is go from your knees, which gets a heck of a lot harder as soon as you put the dowel rod back in place again, right? So again, 3 points of contact, coming on down, and back up. Good, coming on down, maintaining 3 points of contact, and back up. All right, it doesn't look like much, but give it a shot with this detail, and you'll see that actually it can be quite challenging. A second way which we can regress the push-up would be to use an elevated push-up. So here James is going to show what might be a low couch, or you can also use a kitchen counter, desktop, anything like that. The more elevated you are, the more upright you are, the less weight of your body you're moving, so it makes it a bit easier. Again, we can check his alignment here. And again, I don't expect you to always have a dowel rod, but for several sessions though, get a sense of your spinal, what it feels like to have perfect spinal alignment, and maintain that as you go through the exercise. It'll be very valuable feedback for you. So let's say you've progressed out of the elevated push-up onto the floor, and you can do 20 good repetitions, and you need to make it harder. How do we do that? Here's a couple of options. The first one's pretty simple. We're going to use a band, which you use in other exercises in our programs. Put it around the back, like James is doing. Then he's going to go ahead and perform a standard push-up. Now, what's cool about this is that the band creates extra tension and resistance in the top half of the movement. Everything else remains the same. You'll see his spinal alignment, as you can probably tell, is dead on, and it makes it more challenging that way. All right. Another option, which can add even more resistance, is a chain. Now this also just kind of looks really cool, right? So he's going to loop it over his back this way. For all of you who have chains kind of laying around the garage, this is a nice option. It works very much the same way as the band, in that as he comes into the mid and upper portion here of the movement, the chains come off the floor, creating more resistance and more tension for him. All right. Now let's look at a couple of other exercises, a couple of variations of the push-up. One, which is good for us golfers because it really trains the oblique musculature instead of just the interior part of the core. So this is called a T stabilization or a roll-out push-up. Here, James is going to perform a standard push-up, and then roll onto the sides of his feet, arm looking up. Here, he's engaging the oblique musculature here. So proper spinal alignment here is to maintain this instead of letting it dip down like that. Right? He's going to come back up, perform the other side. Nice variation to add in the oblique rotational abdominal muscles into a push-up exercise. And last but not least, we almost always do a moderate. We consider push-ups to be mainly a strength training exercise, so we use a moderate range, 2 up, 2 down, generally speaking, for reps between 10 and 20. However, once you've progressed and gotten very strong in the push-up, you can move into the power phase, which can be a plyometric push-up or a clapping push-up. So James is going to demonstrate that. He's going to drive off the floor, clap the hands, come back down. Exactly. So that is obviously a very cool version of push-up. We'd love for you to be able to progress to that, but take your time, go through the stages, make sure you have a lot of strength before you start fooling around with the clapping push-up. So there you've got it. Push-ups, several variations for more strength and power in your golf swing.